In the heart of Odu village, where the cockcrow greets the sun and children run barefoot on red earth, there lived a young woman named Adunola, the sweetness of the land. Her laughter was light, her words soft, her heart open like the morning sky. She was the kind that fetched water for old women, the kind that shared her food with hungry children, the kind that saw good in everyone, even those who hid daggers behind their smiles. But Odu village was not kind to gentle souls. At first, it began with small things. When she lent her farming tools, they were returned broken. When she shared her harvest, no one shared with her in return. She would smile and say, "Kindness is a seed. One day it will grow." But her seed only grew thorns. Her uncle, Brabakole, took the land her late father left her, saying, "A woman has no right to inherit a farm." She begged, she cried, yet they called her stubborn. Even the elders who once praised her father turned their backs. At the market, her rival traders envied her calm spirit, so they began to whisper that her palm oil was mixed with charms, that her smiles were traps. Soon, customers stopped coming. She watched her goods spoil under the hot sun, while others laughed behind her back. Then came Sade, the one she called Sister of My Soul. Sade was like her shadow, always around her, always smiling. Adunola helped her start her own stall, trusted her with her savings, but greed lives close to the heart of envy. Sade stole her money and accused Adunola of theft, and when the villagers gathered at the square, Adunola was too shocked to speak. They beat her, tore her wrapper, and drove her away in shame. She thought at least her lover, Aken, would defend her, but Aken stood among the crowd and said nothing. Later she heard he was marrying Sade. That night, rain fell heavily. Adunola sat outside her ruined hut, watching the fire from her market stall rise into the dark sky. No one helped. No one cared. Even the priest she often served food told her, "Maybe the gods are punishing you." She wept until her heart grew silent. Days passed, and hunger became her companion. Children mocked her, calling her the cursed one. Her mother's old friend refused her water. When she fell sick, no one came near. They said her sickness was the sign of a hidden sin. That was the day something inside her snapped. Adunola gathered her torn wrapper, and with trembling feet, she walked toward the thick forest beyond the hills. Some say she went to seek peace. Others say she sought power, the kind that answers pain with pain. But what everyone remembers is that after that night, the forest never slept again, because when a gentle heart breaks, the gods themselves must prepare for what will rise.
They said Adunola vanished into the thick forest beyond Odu village, a forest where even hunters feared to tread after sunset. For 7 moons, no one saw her. The wind that blew from that side of the land carried strange whispers. Drums echoed in the distance where no feast was held, and sometimes the river beside the forest ran red like palm oil. Then one misty morning she returned. She was not the same. Her eyes, once soft like morning dew, now burned with a fire that made even the bold look away. Her voice, once gentle, carried power that could silence a crowd. Around her neck hung beads carved with strange symbols, and wherever she stepped, dogs barked and lamps flickered. The villagers watched from afar, whispering, "Is this the same Adunola?" But deep inside they knew she had gone to meet forces that dwell beyond mercy. She rebuilt her hut with her own hands, yet no one dared to pass her compound at night. The trees around her home grew thicker, darker, and the air itself seemed to listen when she spoke. At first, her vengeance came quietly. The trader who mocked her, his yam barn caught fire in broad daylight. Baba Kole, her uncle, fell sick and no medicine cured him. He confessed before dying that he dreamt of Adunola every night, standing beside his bed, smiling. Then it was Sade and Akin's turn. Their marriage turned bitter like unripe kola. Their baby cried endlessly until one night the crying stopped and a shadow moved across their window. By morning, their compound was empty. Fear spread like Harmattan fire. No one spoke ill of Adunola again. Even the chief's guards crossed the road when she passed. The same tongues that cursed her now called her Mother of the Night. Children were told never to anger her, and when the wind blew too cold, elders whispered, "She is walking again." But deep inside, Adunola's heart was still a battlefield. At night, she sat by her fire, staring at the flames. Sometimes she saw her old self, that smiling girl who once believed kindness could heal the world. She heard that girl's voice say, "This is not who you are." But the other voice, cold and powerful, always replied, "They made me." One evening, a young orphan named Temi came knocking at her door. The child had been beaten by villagers for stealing food. She looked at the girl and saw herself, the pain, the hunger, the rejection. Something shifted inside her Adunola. She took the girl in, gave her food, and washed her wounds. And that night, as the moon rose behind the forest, the spirits she once served began to whisper in anger. They demanded more blood, more vengeance, but Adunola stayed silent. For the first time, the woman of darkness felt a flicker of light again. Now the village waits, holding its breath. Will Adunola return fully to the light? Or will the darkness she invited consume her forever? Only the next moon will tell.
The moon was heavy that night, round, bright, and watching. Odu village slept in silence, but the forest behind Adunola's hut was alive with whispers. The spirits she once called upon had returned. Their voices filled the wind, cold and angry. "Adunola, you were ours. Have you forgotten your vow?" She sat before her fire, Temi sleeping beside her. The flames danced, and faces began to appear inside them. Faces of those she had punished. Sade, Akin, Baba Kole. They called her name from the smoke, some weeping, some laughing. The spirits spoke again. "You gave us your tears, your pain, your soul. Now give us the girl, give us Temi, or we shall take you instead." Adunola trembled. For the first time in many moons, fear entered her heart. She looked at Temi, that small child, innocent and sleeping, and tears rolled down her cheeks. She remembered her old life, the market laughter, her father's farm, and the days when her heart was soft like ripe mango. She had become the storm she once ran from. "Enough," she whispered. "I have shed enough blood. I have seen enough tears. If this is power, then let me be powerless again." The fire roared. The spirits screamed through the trees, their shadows twisting in anger. Adunola stood, wrapped her old wrapper around herself, and stepped into the forest. She walked to the sacred grove where it all began. There she raised her hands and cried out to the heavens, "Let the wickedness end with me. If I must die to stop the curse, then so be it." Thunder answered. The ground shook beneath her feet. A great wind rose, tearing through the trees. Some say lightning struck the grove that night. Others say a light brighter than the sun filled the forest.
By morning, Odu village saw smoke rising from the hills. When the people ran to the grove, they found nothing but ashes. No body, no footprints, only peace. The birds that had fled the forest began to sing again. The river cleared its color. The air, once heavy with fear, became calm like dawn after rain. And there, on the ground where Adunola once stood, lay a single bead, her old necklace, glowing softly. Temi picked it up and whispered, "Thank you, Mama Adunola." From that day, no evil spirit troubled Odu again. But when the moon is full and the wind sings through the palm trees, the villagers still say they hear her voice, soft, calm, and filled with mercy, saying, "Kindness is never wasted, even when the world makes it suffer."